Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is about wrestling games and how they pretty much have lost their way. So everybody knows the original SmackDown trilogy, Raw trilogy, SmackDown vs. Raw trilogy, and the WWE games were all made by Activision, Ukes, and THQ. Three companies that came together, created the best wrestling games possible, that kept everybody, pretty much all their wrestling needs and cravings pretty much settled. Match types, match versions, fluidity, ground and pound action, all that good stuff, all put together. Creativity to make awesome matches, all that good stuff. That's because those companies knew exactly, they paid attention to what people wanted for the games each and every year. When if something didn't make the cut one year, they made sure it made the cut the next. And so on and so forth. Corey Ledesma was the pinnacle of that. He was a huge representative for THQ who helped make these games the way they were and to make them the best sports product out there that competed with the NBA games, the baseball games, the hockey games, any sport game out there. He wanted to make sure that it was the best competition, deliver the best product possible. And he was at almost every con event, whether it was some sort of game con, whatever it made of conventions, and he was there answering questions about the games. You know, he never put you on the back burner. When it came to 2K games came into the effect after WWE 13. THQ basically went bankrupt. They ran out of money. And, you know, you would think from the games they made from SmackDown, SmackDown 2, SmackDown Just Bring It, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw, SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then WWE 12 and 13. The reason why those were called WWE 12 and 13 is because that's when the brands weren't split anymore. They converted to one brand. Every wrestler competed on Mondays and Thursdays or Fridays or Tuesdays, whatever day it was. They all competed on the same days, on the same shows, so on and so forth. NXT wasn't much of a factor up until WWE 2K15 came in, and that's when NXT basically was born, founded by none other than Triple H. But after WWE 13, they went completely bankrupt. They went broke. And 2K saw dollar signs. Like, we're going to pick up the pillar of sports entertainment. We're going to pick up the WWE. We're going to pick up their games. We're going to make them the way we want to make them. Because they don't care what the people say about their games. They don't care what the people want. They're going to do what they want. Now, Corey Ledesma made sure that there was always the match types that people wanted one year and didn't get the next, that they somewhat made the cut, came somewhat close to making it. You know, the bra and panties matches ended after 2006 SmackDown vs. Raw. So that was after 2006. That match went away. They introduced Inferno match. They modified Extreme Rules matches. And then, more importantly, they innovated the environmental wrestling space. So, like, you know, if you're outside the ring and you're bashing your opponent's head in the steel steps, you could do that until they were bloody in the face. That was also introducing wrestling games to new consoles, Xbox 360, PS3. You can fight out in the crowd, and then there was a banister up there you can jump off of, and, you know, put your opponent through a table, hit him with a fire extinguisher, hit him with a chair. You know, you can do that in modern day wrestling games. The only thing is the space is so small, you can't really fight there. You can just throw punches. You can't, you know, hit him with a DDT or a suplex or a power bomb or a pile driver or whatever you want. It's not how it is nowadays. After THQ dropped the project, they lost their licensing because they went bankrupt, and 2K picked it up. 2K pretty much butchered the games. 2K15 was good. I skipped a year. 2K14 was very good. It was the 30th anniversary of WrestleMania. So they had a 2K showcase where it was WrestleMania 3 all the way up to WrestleMania 29. Great showcase. excellent showcase. I played it over and over again because I loved reliving all those classic matches and all those great memories that, from over the years that I've lived with. A lot of those memories I lived with friends, going to their houses, watching the pay-per-view events, and all that good stuff. 2K15 was okay. Now the slogan was feel it. What the fudge am I feeling? All it was better graphics on a new console. This is when the games came to PS4 and Xbox One. They used facial recognition software to actually make the wrestlers look like they are on TV. Complete oversight. What the hell are we supposed to be feeling? Feeling the hard hits, the moves, or was it just simply the fact the graphics were better? That didn't really help us none. It didn't really make us feel any different than as if we were playing the game the previous year. It's just better graphics. Moving on. 2K16. Had a little bit of trouble at launch. They gave you the ability to create ring gear for your wrestlers. You even changed remotely the color on it and tried to use it in a match. Right when the entrance music hit, the game crashed. They fixed it with one patch. They had like 3 patches for that game because it wasn't all that broken. 2K18 didn't really need any patches because nothing was broken. 2K19, small changes between 16 through 17 and 18 and 19. The roster only basically either added a couple people or brought in a couple people. 2K19 had some issues with 2 competitors not being paid well enough to be in the game, so they opted to be out of the game, and 2K didn't want to catch a fat-ass lawsuit because they're already facing one lawsuit, so they kept them out of the game. The first lawsuit that I indicated was the one with Randy Orton's tattoo artist. 2K was being sued because they claimed to own the rights to his tattoos, because they have to make a copyright infringement for the game, and she said, well, those are my sketches. You don't own the rights to those, so I'm not sure if that lawsuit went through or not. If it didn't, great. If it did, well, 2K's in for a fight because, the artist is going to win. You basically are claiming rights to something you did not create. Never had this issue with THQ and Ukes, though. Because THQ and Ukes always worked with everybody, every wrestler's tattoo artist, and be like, hey, we're going to make sure you get royalties for this, this, and this. They made sure they were taken care of. That's probably why they went bankrupt. I don't know how you get bankrupt when you're basically making people happy and doing the right things. No idea. Anywho, the vision that everybody has for wrestling games is that it is real as it is. These games are supposed to be simulation-based. That's what 2K wanted, simulation-based. Okay, then you need Inferno matches, ambulance matches, I Quit matches. Every match you see on TV needs to be in the game. We need more creativity in the creation suite. Stop taking out ring gear from previous games just because it's outdated. Keep it in there. It's part of creation. It gives people that creative mindset. It's what you wanted. It's what you wanted people to have. $2K20, debauchery. That's what we call it, debauchery. That game, shit. I'll tell you why. It was trouble from the moment it was born, from launch date. There was clipping issues, immersions, crashes, data not being saved, data corruptions. And at first it was because people said, like, oh yeah, you have to change the in-game time on your console. Or the time on your console to a certain date and time, and it corrects the issues because something with the game messed that up. How in the hell do you screw up the time zone on a console with a game to where the game doesn't function properly? For a while it fixed things, but then when the second patch note came through, it broke it some more. The Creative Championship did not include side plates, which are the little emblems on the side of the championships that represents every wrestler as an individual. So John Cena had like the Hustle, Loyalty, and Respect ones. Randy Orton had like Viper ones, and so on and so forth. Those were supposed to be in the second patch. That was broken to where it was supposed to be put into the game, but it wasn't. Third patch, put the side plates in, broke something else. What did it break? Entrance music. Fourth patch comes in. Fix the entrance music. What did it break? Immersions. So basically, when you're giving your opponent a suplex, their head pops off, or they're walking around with no head, or the bodies fuse together, or if you're bouncing off the ropes, you get caught in the ropes, then out of nowhere, Randy Orton hits you with an RKO and you lose the match because, your health bar was already low as it was. It was just a complete freaking mess. Still is. Even 8 patches later, it is still what we call an incomplete, broken piece of shit. Not much we can do about that. 2K21 never happened. What do? They made WWE 2K All-Stars. Piece of shit. It was a piece of shit game, and will continue to be a piece of shit game. Now, slogan for this year, WWE 2K22, it hits different. What the hell is so freaking different? All you saw in the trailer was Rey Mysterio giving Cesaro a 619. Go freaking figure. That's different? You can do that every day in any other wrestling game. What's different? Match types? More blood? More creation? More creation opportunities? What's so different? Because all your other slogans have pretty much failed you. The 2K15, feel it. We didn't feel shit. 2K20s was step inside. Step inside a freaking shit Twilight Zone. That's what that was. 2K19, be phenomenal. It lived up to its name. It lived up to the slogan, be phenomenal. It was really good. It had the phenomenal challenge, which was you climb up you play as AJ Styles, and you pretty much, it was the $1 million challenge. You have to compete in a series of matches playing as AJ Styles, all the way up to you face the gold AJ Styles which is the real AJ Styles in real life, playing on the other side, and if you beat him, you win $1 million. So they lived up to that. 22, it hits different. I want to know what's so different. We haven't heard anything from cons. We haven't heard anything from conventions. We have heard nothing from them, proving that point. Now, they announce SummerSlam. They'll announce, roster reveals, gameplay footage, what superstars are in, made the cut, which ones didn't make the cut, all of that good stuff. Now, SummerSlam is August 21st, 2021. So we're probably not going to know any information till then, but they usually start releasing stuff in like July, late July, early August, and then SummerSlam is when they really lay the hammer down. They haven't really done much of anything except release a pretty shitty trailer at WrestleMania, which didn't really make any sense. All it says is that it was Rey Mysterio giving a 619 to Cesaro in an empty-ass arena, and it came up, WWE 2K22, it hits different. I don't see anything different. I just see the graphics are advanced, probably because it's going on PS5 and Xbox Series S and X, but I don't see any difference. Go back to when THQ and Ukes made the games. They didn't have slogans. Actually, you know what? They did. WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. Don't just watch it, live it. It lived up to it perfectly. Entrances were up to par. Environmental fighting styles were up to par. The broadcast team, JR and Jerry the King Lawler, the audio was great. Movesets were awesome. The lighting, awesome. It introduced the Money in the Bank ladder match for the first time. And it was only a year late, because it was in 2005 when the first Money in the Bank ladder match took place that Chris Jericho was the creator of the match. Edge won the very first one. It was introduced into the games one game late, so it skipped 2006, introduced it in 2007. THQ and Ukes always made sure that the games were up to date all the time, updated roster, updated match types, updated everything. 2K didn't even barely keep up with that. What they do? They copied shit from the previous year and put it into the new one. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. That's just laziness. You're not even working with your team to better the game. The only thing you're changing is maybe facial features, tattoos, and basically copying new ring gear and overwriting the files of the old ones. That's not developing a game. That's just basically copying and pasting garbage. That's just going to show that this game is going to be just as broken as 2 games back. What hits different? The glitches? The bugs? The cancer? I use the word cancer because that's what 2K20 was. It was a cancer. It was terrible. And that's just putting it nicely. Live up to your freaking slogans, 2K. Get your shit together. Give the fans what they want. And that's what they want is that simulation-based, hard-knocking, slobber-knocking action that they've had in previous years before 2K picked up the bill. Make it as good as THQ made it. Follow in their footsteps. Think that's the biggest hint you could take. Follow in their footsteps. They delivered the best content. I don't pay for the game every year to see John Cena in a different colored freaking t-shirt. Or the same model as the year before when clearly things change over time. The wrestlers age. We all know this. They're human beings. You know, everybody's now going to be going from paying $60 for the game if you're on PS4 and Xbox One to pretty much $70 for the standard edition on PS5 and Xbox Series S and X to the deluxe edition being $80 to now $90 and the collector's edition being about roughly $115. No, wait, I'm sorry. PS4 and Xbox One would be $60 for standard, $80 for deluxe, $115 for collectors. PS5 and Xbox Series S and X, standard edition, $70. Deluxe edition, $90. Collector's edition, probably around $200. But if you play on PC like I do most of the time, I'll probably just get the deluxe edition for all the extra content and, you know, the 3-day early access, which I think is the gamble. If you get it 3 days early, they say, well, if you get it 3 days early, you're getting like the beta version of the game. Like, it's a complete game, you fuck. The only difference is I get to play it 3 days early, but the thing is, I'll be able to just let people know how crappy it is 3 days before. That's the difference. That's the only difference. I will leave that at that. You know, I might, go and get the collector's edition for like PS4 or Xbox One, but I won't keep the copy of the game. I'll probably just sell it to some kid or something cheaper and just keep the collectible items because they don't make a collector's edition for PC. They just make it for consoles. That's fine. I ain't got no issue with that. What I have an issue with is that every time they come up with some slogan that's supposed to be what's the word, man? Eye-catching. It hits different. That doesn't catch any eyes. That's just basically you guys come up with some random crap, pasting it on a graphic, and then putting it into a trailer, releasing the trailer, and then, like, it was literally a minute of crap. Of two guys in one area. Didn't look any different. The controls looked, the game looked slow-paced. The graphics itself looked decent, but the skin textures on the competitors looked a little bit effed up. Not gonna lie, it looked like utter crap. Get your shit together, 2K. Deliver the product that everybody is expecting. Give the fans what they want. THQ had no problem doing that because Corey Ledesma loved his job. He loved what he did. We never hear anything from any 2K representatives about the game. They just release the content, and all you hear about the gameplay videos and everything else, you hear it from other YouTubers. You're not hearing it from anybody from 2K. You're hearing it from other YouTubers who play the same garbage you guys deliver every year. Now, I'm not saying all the 2K games were bad. Like I said, 2K14 was a blast. It was a whole lot of fun. It was great. It was epic. 2K20 was a botchery. 2K15 had like an advertisement slogan that made no sense. Feel it. Again, what the fudge were we feeling? We weren't feeling anything. All we were feeling was like the feeling of new graphics and facial recognition software, which you guys continuously broke over the years. Made some wrestlers look worse than they did the year before. But, you know, that's just throwing salt in the wound. They need to get their shit together and realize we want more match types, more creativity spots, more room for creativity. We want more lifelike feeling, like as if we're really creating our own show and putting on something for a crowd. That's what we want. That's what we've been wanting for the past 3 years. You didn't see that 19, 18, 17. Actually, 16. Yeah, for the last, so 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. For the past 7 years, we've wanted that. The last time we've got something even close to that was the last game that THQ and Corey gave us, which was SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. That was the last time we ever saw anything close to what we're expecting from 2K. Their expectations are completely different compared to what the fans want. They don't care. They do what they want. They're going to keep doing their standard copy-paste bullshit and continuously making wrestlers look worse than they did the year before, and so on and so forth, because they can and they will. They're going to be the next company that goes bankrupt because of how many complaints they had from 2K20, how horrible it was, the return ratio on that game was awful. There was more refunds given for that game than any other 2K game that I have ever seen. As a matter of fact, $2K issued a boatload of refunds. I think it was the one 2K game that made the least money in 2K history was WWE 2K20. That game didn't even make half of its quota that it made, that 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, WWE 13, 12, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and 5 made together. That is not even, it didn't even make a fraction of what those other titles made. That's how bad it was. So I guess it was good they skipped a generation with 2K21 because they knew if they advertised it, riots were going to erupt. Their Twitter feed was going to blow up with negative comments and concerns and questions that they can't answer or they'll refuse to answer. Strictly for the point, 2K doesn't deliver what the fans want. Now, if it was NBA, oh, definitely, we'll deliver whatever you guys want. The wrestling games, AEW has a game coming out. Not sure who the developer is or who's making the game, but I've seen little bits and pieces of the productivity, and it looks really good. My opinion, I'll probably wind up buying that game before I even buy 2K22, because it hits different. I don't know what that means until I see any sort of footage or anything sampling it after SummerSlam. Then maybe. But AEW's game looks a little bit more promising right now than another 2K game. With that being said, What would you guys like to see in 2K22 that's different? I'd like to see more match types. I'd like to have a little bit more creativity. I would like to have, the broadcast booth, which is like the commentators, not repeat the same lines 50 times over every time you do a sequence of moves. If you're in the chain grappling and you're doing a collar and elbow tie up and it's like, here's Randy Orton, here's John Cena, here's Randy Orton, here's John Cena, back and forth over and over and over again, and now John Cena with the upper hand, and now Randy Orton with the same lines over and over again. Keep it fresh. Like, my God. Keep it fresh. Keep it authentic. You're not going to hear these guys repeating the same lines over and over again on TV. If these are supposed to be simulation-based games, then you really need to understand that, well, that also includes the commentary. Because repeating the same lines over and over again in your ears while you're playing the game, it kills the buzz of the entire excitement. It kills the joy. So it's like, you know what? After this match, I'm shutting this off and playing Call of Duty. There's nothing else to say with that. There really isn't. You guys got to stop being in the loop of looping the same things over and over and over again. Pick up the pace. Do something different. Okay, WWE 2K22, it hits different. Make it freaking different. Make it different from all the other wrestling games put together. Put it that way. Make it so different that it lives up to its name and makes some freaking money. Fix the commentary loop. Give us the better match types. I'm going to keep repeating myself till I'm blue in the face. Because, well, does it necessarily mean they're going to take it into heart if they see the video? No. They're not going to care. They're going to do what they want to do and what's going to make them money. They'll learn to regret that later when fans are on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram or what other social media platforms they have, blowing it up, talking a bunch of shit about their shitty product. Bear in mind, I'm just going to come right out and say it, THQ and Ukes never had that issue. It was always positive feedback. It was always positive stuff. Corey Ledesma was on Twitter every single day answering everybody's questions. Sure, it was slow replies. Busy man. He's working on the game. But he always takes time out of his day to answer questions. I follow him on Twitter to this day. He misses making the wrestling games. He hates what 2K has turned these games into. He really does. He's like, I've never seen a wrestling game that bad. It's like, we never had this problem on our end. I think it was like something he put on Twitter. It's like, wow, this never would have happened under our care. And he emphasized that. He was hinting like, yeah, when we were making the games, we never had this problem. He was absolutely right. When 2K picked up the license, the games went down the toilet. Nobody ever saw wrestling games the same again. The point I'm trying to make is here, 2K, get your shit together. Live up to your slogans and your advertisement. Get it done. Because that last botchery you made pretty much butchered wrestling games. With all of that being said, guys, drop a like if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Check out my description down below for all my favorite people that I hang out with whenever I do stream. Drop a like and subscribe to their channels and their content. And remember, don't just join the revelation, become it. Take care, guys. Be safe. And have a great rest of your day. And just a little side note, 2K, you might want to change the graphic a little bit. Because literally every year it's the same thing. It's like this misty effect in the background with the same freaking lettering. It's vanilla. It's boring. You're not going to catch eyes just because you threw something up there that says it hits different. Take it easy, guys.